Um, Hi everyone. Welcome to our college panel. I'm Alan Zhang. I'll be today's moderator. And to kick things off, I'm going to introduce myself. Um, so I graduated from Central Bucks East this year. I'll be attending the Georgia Institute of Technology, and my intended major is industrial engineering. And my top two common app activities were, I think, um, research that I did and um, being a tennis coach, I think was my second. All right, so off of that, I'm just gonna call on some panelists, and you're just gonna tell us your name, the high school you graduated from, the college you'll be attending, your intended major, and your top two common activities. So let's start with Devin.
Hello, my name is Devin Yang. Um, I graduated from CB East, and I plan to attend UPenn in the Life Sciences and Management program. Um, so I'll be studying biology alongside business there, and my top two Common App activities were two research positions. One I did alongside my school district, so it was like a biotech partnership program. And then I also performed research at the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia over the summer.
Awesome. Hanwen.
My name is Han Wen. I graduated from CB East as well. I will be attending NYU's Stern School of Business for business and political economy. My top two activities were research publications with Science Fair and being a captain in the marching band.
Awesome. Nathan.
Hello, my name is Nathan Yan. I graduated from North Penn High School. I'll be going to Northeastern University studying business management. My top two activities on my Common App was organizing a music fundraiser for my church, and then also being part of an organization called Madison's Mission, where we go to elementary schools and teach kids with autism some new things.
Great. Next, Susanna.
Hi everyone, my name is Susanna. I also graduated from Central Bucks East, and I'm going to be attending Penn State studying aerospace engineering. And my top two Common App activities were orchestra and being a student teacher for Guanghua Chinese School.
Great. Next, Jason.
Hello, my name is Jason, and I go to Council Rock High School North. I'm going to go to MIT, and my intended major is computation and cognition. For my top two common app activities, I think I had like running the computer science club and also internship for a local software engineering company.
Nice. Next, Chloe.
Hi, my name is Chloe. I went to Germantown Academy. I'll be going to Columbia studying history and political science. And my top two common app activities were leading my speech and debate club in school and some like volunteer work I did outside of school related to debate.
Great. Michael.
Hi everyone. I attended Central Bucks South High School, and my major is electrical engineering at Carnegie Mellon University. And my top two Common App activities were scouts and leadership in scouting, and also a public speaking teacher.
Great. Finally, Brian.
Hi, my name is Brian. I also went to Central Bucks South High School, and I'm going to Purdue University to study mechanical engineering. My top two common ac activities were Boy Scouts of America, and also I founded CBCA football club.
Nice. It's great to hear about everyone's backgrounds. Next, we're gonna move on to our first topic, which is clubs and extracurriculars. So, our first question is, what extracurricular activities had the biggest impact on you? So, for this, if any of you panelists really want to answer, you can raise your hand. Um, if not, I can just read down the list. All right. I guess I'll start. I think the biggest extracurricular activity or the one that had the biggest impact on me was founding or co-founding a youth tennis uh, group lesson. I did it for I think around 4 or 5 years. I think the experience was very influential to me as I learned a lot of um, teaching techniques and also become part of the community. I think that was a big part to my resume. Um, all right. How about Devin? Do you have anything to say?
Yeah, so um, I'd say pretty much similar to what I said before. I think the my research experience was probably what was most impactful for me. One thing that like I'm more focused on is RNA biology, and so that's kind of I got that interest through this research, both my research opportunities, and so I think that's probably the biggest impact that had on me. That yeah, I kind of had. And then I guess maybe like science fairs because I also got to present the research. But yeah, it's I think those activities were what got me interested in the topic that I now want to major and study. And so I think that's what's been important.
Nice. Um, let's go Han Wen.
So for the extracurriculars that had a lot of impact, the ones I had leadership in, such as marching band and the esports club, it gave me a lot of stuff to write about in the Common App essays. Kind of run out of ideas, and but the experiences I had uh, gotten from starting clubs, like dealing with everything that a club has to deal with, it allowed me to write essays of real substance. There's a lot of different essay topics, and if you don't have that many experiences, it's kind of hard to write something meaningful in the Common App essays. So I found that just being a part of a club and leading was really impactful in the application process.
Awesome. Nathan?
So one of the biggest activities for me, as I mentioned before, was the fundraising for my church, because I got to learn how to better communicate with people, working with people, trying to, pull off a whole concert. I also learned a little bit of how to get people to attend the concert because I can't have a fundraiser without anyone. So just those experiences just kind of taught me how to, communicate better, work better with people. And because I'm a business major and fundraising deals with money, that kind of helped uh, show colleges that I was interested in my field of study.
Great. Susanna?
I would say that a lot of the activities that I was involved in during high school were more focused around like teaching. So, for example, I already mentioned that I was a student teacher at Guanghua. So I think that also really helped me like develop some leadership skills as well, and also learning how to manage like all the responsibilities of being a teacher. And on top of that, I also served as the president for my school's tutoring club, which offered tutoring to our feeder middle school. So I think that also helped with like organizational skills and stuff like that.
Nice. Jason?
I think I agree. For me, one of my most impactful activities was running and being the leader of the computer science club at my school. I also helped like found it, so it gave me a lot of material to write about on the Common App, and also I think it really lets you show how you can actually have a specific impact on people, even if it might be localized to your community. And another activity I think that had a big impact for me, especially, was just programming and just doing different programming projects for fun. Because a lot of the things I did on my own time that I didn't expect to be useful in a college application ended up being what I wrote about in my college app. Like, for example, I attended a game jam once for fun with a couple of friends, and that became the central topic of one of my game jams, one of my college app essays, where I was able to talk about how it taught me stuff about communication and teamwork, for example.
Great. Chloe?
My main extracurricular was just doing debate throughout high school. I think it helped me figure out what I was interested in academically, which like led to my like majors and stuff. But it also just helped me like fill out different parts of my application. So it was like on my activities list, I wrote about it for like my awards, and it also just helped me write a lot for like my essays and have stuff to write about.
Nice. Michael?
For me, I think Scouts is one of the most influential extracurriculars these young boys can do today because it taught me skills that you can't find anywhere else, experiences, and also friendships. So for skills, at least for my troop, it's a little bit on the bigger side. So as a leader in the troop, you have to organize so many things from like managing logistics to a camp out and who's going to buy all the food, how are you going to run the meeting, how are you going to communicate among your ASPLs, which is like your main crew, your helpers, how you're going to run each meeting, how you're going to run each camp out. You have to plan the whole thing out, and you're responsible for these 30 kids and also the adults that are on the trip because it's the scouts that are leading all the activities, not the adults mainly. So when you're doing all the planning, when you're running all the logistics, it teaches you some skills that you don't see anywhere else, leadership, caring for others. And those moments are really special as well among the kids because when you're there, you even though if you're like an older scout, you see yourself in these younger scouts where you were before and how the scouts who are older than you help you to learn new skills like knot tying, fire building, but also soft skills like leadership, communication. And you get to do cool experiences, like for example, backpacking in the middle of the Rocky Mountains, or like pioneering, which is basically like you take two like large wooden spars and you tie them together with rope, and you can make incredible structures. Like in our troop, we made a Ferris wheel out of just wooden spars and rope, and we displayed it actually at a uh, show at an airport, and we got to camp out at the airport, which is like who else gets to do that? So it's just great experience, great skills, and overall, I highly recommend it. But also, secondary thing is to do like a sport in high school because if it gives you a community to be with and gives you just a somewhere physical outlet to relieve some stress. And I think even though I didn't write anything about sports, it's something I really cherish with my group in volleyball in high school.
Wow, great insight. Brian?
I would also agree that Boy Scouts has changed my life. So to add on to Michael, I would say leadership is also a big part in Boy Scouts. I learned a lot of leadership during my Eagle Scout project, which what I did was I planned a project which involved planting 55 trees in a park. Um, and this involved a lot of communication with adult leaders in like township people. Um, and also taught me how to time management, to manage my time, uh, and sort out uh like sort out duties to other scouts to help finish the project on time. I'd say also in Boy Scouts you also have merit badges. So there's over I think there's over 100 merit badges that you can take, and each merit badge they like teach you a certain skill that I think schools don't teach you these type of skills, and I think that's what led me to pick my major and see what I'm interested in.
Great. All right. Actually circling back to what Michael said about sports, um, did you guys play any sports or any volunteer experience that you found very impactful? Just like feel free to raise your hand or just unmute.
Um, I can go. I played a little bit of tennis for like the first, I think like 2 years, so ninth grade and 10th grade. And then I also did some I guess I did some volunteering with CBCA, which I guess most of you must be familiar with, as like a tennis coach.
Anyone else? Oh, okay. I'll guess I'll build it off of that. I also played tennis, but I think I played for 4 years. So from
And
freshman to senior, I played singles, and I really think that being part of a team doesn't have to be a school team, but being part of a sports team really helps you build te very
and
important qualities. Um, like especially me, where I was a junior captain and also senior captain, I learned a lot of leadership qualities. Also being a coach, I coached a lot of the underclassmen, um, and I thought that was a very important experience for me. I also ended up writing a few essays on tennis and the team I was with at school. So yeah, very influential. Does anyone else have anything to add?
Yeah, bouncing off of that, I did I did esports for about 3 years, and while it's kind of like a sport, but it this goes for all sports and related activities such as marching band. It's a if it doesn't take too much of your time, it's a great way to get involved and eventually work yourself up to like a leadership opportunity, like becoming a captain or any other positions that might be available. And it's a good way to just add on to that resume in preparation for the actual college application.
Great. Anyone have anything to add? Sport, it doesn't have to be sports, could be also volunteer. O'Brien.
So I did football at South, which was pretty unique, for me. It did take a lot of time, but it was really fun, and I got to, work on my body and get fit, and it was really cool, getting to play football with my high school teammates.
All right.
And,
Oh,
and bounce,
sorry.
sorry, just not just sports. Going off of volunteer, I volunteered for an organization called Madison's Mission, and as I explained before, we go to elementary schools and we do fun activities with kids. That was impactful, and I actually used that in a lot of my essays, learning how to communicate with them because on a regular day, I normally won't interact with kids who have autism. So it's a great way to have a bonding experience and also have those kids know that uh they're not isolated. They're just like the rest of us. So it's really good in building community if you can find it doesn't have to be Madison's mission, but find more opportunities that deals with these type of things.
Great. Uh, oh,
Yeah, I'll also say like I trained in badminton from like fifth to ninth grade, so that's part of my physical aspect of my life. Also, club volleyball and school volleyball from 9th to 12th grade. So that when in school as well and in club, you meet different people from different places around the local area or with from different classes you take in school. You won't see the volleyball players on the team are probably not going to be in similar classes. So you get to meet new people, expand your horizons, get to know your team more, and that's also the physical and mental side of balanced student life. And also with volunteer experience, I also serve my youth group at church as well, and that's also serving your spiritual side as well. So in order to become not to be overwhelmed and stressed, you need to have some balance between the physical, mental, spiritual together, I think.
Great insight. Does anyone have anything else to add before we move on? No? Okay. All right. One more question in this topic. I'm just gonna ask uh, if someone wants to start a club, if you guys have started a club or had any type of experience with that, where should they begin? Anyone want to chip in?
I can go. So I started my school's Model UN club with a friend, and I also like kind of restarted our speech and debate club after COVID. I think it's a lot easier to do if you can just like find someone else who's like also interested in doing that and just like don't be afraid to like reach out. So when we were trying to start our Model UN club, we reached out to like people in like different schools who run like really successful clubs. And that's how we found out about a lot of like different resources. How do you register for like conferences and stuff like that? And also like that's how we found like teachers who were willing to sponsor us and stuff. So I would just say like find someone else who's also interested and just like don't be afraid to reach out to other people.
Awesome. Anyone else want to say something? No? Okay. That's fine. We're gonna move on to the next topic. Okay, so this is gonna be about um academics. So, the first question is, what's your biggest tip for maintaining a strong GPA? We'll just start off. I'll read off the names for this question. Devin.
I would say maybe just like being disciplined to like study. Sometimes you like really don't want to study, but you know, if you want to maintain a strong GPA, you gotta get like good grades. And so you kind of just gotta put in the work, do like what the teacher is telling you to do the homework, follow the lectures, listen in class. Um, yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
On one.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of the stuff Devin said, but maintaining a strong GPA won't be like it's not gonna be that big of an issue if you stay disciplined, as Devin just said. But just make sure don't goof off in class. Like actually listen to the teachers and use external resources like going in during lunch or after school. Asking the teacher questions can be very helpful if you need help.
Nathan.
Going off of what Han Wen said, yeah, asking questions is very helpful, but also mainly like participating in class. If a teacher asks a question or anything, just answer, be engaged. Um, don't just be daydreaming during class. And then anytime you have a chance, go in to ask for help, or even if you don't need help, just going in to have the teacher get to know you. So then, they might pay more attention to you, and maybe they'll help you more if they see you're struggling.
Great. Susanna.
Yeah, and I definitely agree with being proactive and asking for help because especially in the future when you go to college, there aren't as many people who are gonna reach out to you first. It's more that you have to reach out if you're struggling. And also, I would just say take more challenging classes in the subjects that you're interested in and that you actually would want to learn about so that you find studying to be like more enjoyable instead of just dull and boring. And, yeah.
Nice. Jason?
Um, I totally agree with what everyone else has said so far. Like, it's a lot of putting in the work, putting in the studying, and definitely a lot of like asking for help. I know at times you might not want to go after school and ask for help, but like your teachers are being paid obviously to help you. They're not gonna they're not gonna think any less of you if you just go in and ask for help or ask your friends if anything. Like uh, I think the people around you are generally like an underutilized resource for a lot of students. I think, especially, I've seen people who do badly in school, but then knowing that their friends definitely or their teachers definitely could have helped them more. So you just got to go reach out and ask for help, and people will definitely give it to you. And another thing is, a bit more specifically on like how to study, it definitely differs from person to person. So try to find what studying style like suits you. Like for me, I find it better if I understand things at like a conceptual level rather than trying to memorize specific topic by topic and connecting different topics together rather than memorizing things one by one.
Awesome. Chloe?
I definitely agree with like asking other people for help. And I think it can be helpful to like form a study group or just like get to know the people in your classes more so you can like study together before a test. Or like if you're stuck on the homework or something, you can like have other people there to ask and like work with.
Nice. Michael?
Yeah, I'd say don't take the APs just to take the APs. Take the courses that you really enjoy, that you think will be meaningful or helpful to you, and also take the APs for the rigor and for the challenge that if you're up to it and you know what type of student you are. So see if you can pace yourself with the time management and the workload with different classes. Like for me, I take orchestra and French. I don't want to take some extra AP just to for the credit. But also, it's also a good opportunity for you to discover what classes you may struggle in, what classes you need a little bit more help in, and you can pace your time more effectively that way.
All right. Lastly, Brian.
I would say just keeping up with your work like every night and not procrastinate. And also like STEM classes such as math and science, I'd say like practice makes perfect. So like doing more practice will make you better at the subject. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll add on to what everyone said. I totally agree with what everyone said, but one thing for me, I feel like starting high school, most high schools start in ninth grade. So as a freshman, I would try to challenge yourself, really try to take a lot of AP classes, not just because, you know, trying to get a high GPA, but also um, trying to see what classes interest you, what classes that you want to, take further and dive deeper into a harder level. Um, and so I think you should do that early, figure out what you want to do, and then try to pursue that. And then other things that you don't want to do, you don't need to, keep going and taking harder versions of those classes. So yeah, that's my advice as well. Um, okay, so our next question is, did you choose the SAT or ACT? Um, and why? Uh, Devin.
So I chose the SAT because Um, pretty much most of the people that I was around took the SAT, and that's also what like my family was more familiar with. It's also where like the APs are on because they're all College Board. So that's pretty much why I took the SAT. And then in terms of like studying for that, um, I pretty much just spammed the practice exams on Blue Book. They have like eight of them, and they're pretty much the most accurate representation of what you'll be taking on test day. And so just keep practicing that. Um, and yeah, kind of like as I think Brian said, yeah, like pretty much practicing those problems is definitely going to make you better. You'll see the patterns, and you'll also be able to learn from like what areas you need help on.
Great. Hanwen.
I took the SAT because, well, at the time, Desmos was really like useful on the SAT, and the SAT is also a much shorter test compared to the ACT, and there's less subjects you need to study for, I think. I'm pretty sure. And as to study for the SAT, piggybacking on what Devin said, there is a student question bank on College Board. And what I did is I just did like every single you can separate it by easy, hard, medium. Did every single hard question in the bank, and your score will improve as you do more practice problems.
Nice. Nathan.
I took the SAT because for the ACT, uh, you have to be quicker at, reading and answering questions, and I'm not fast enough for that, so I decided to take the SAT. And in terms of studying for it, just for the English section, just read a lot of books. I know no one likes to hear that, but that's something that helped me where I was taking an AP English class and we read a lot of books, and then gradually that my reading score was improving because I was exposed to more information and I was able to understand the passages better. And then also just going on YouTube, there are many people on YouTube giving you like good advice for the SAT, especially math. I think there's a lot of people there who can tell you how to use Desmos to solve a lot of questions. So just learning how to use Desmos can really help on the math section.
You, Susanna.
So I also took the SAT just because it's kind of like the default option that most people go for. And I didn't really like see a big difference between the SAT and the ACT. But I will say because there are a couple people that I knew who did prefer the ACT because back then the ACT used to be only paper. So there are some people who have a preference for doing paper testing versus digital because now the SAT is fully digital. So I know someone who wanted to do a paper test instead. And also, another advantage of the ACT is that they have a science section. So if you're looking to study STEM in college, it could be a good idea to do the ACT. But the science section is also optional now, so they're about the same now, I would say.
All right. Jason.
I took the SAT, and it was mainly just because I like my brother took it. We were more familiar with the SAT. We like knew what resources to use, and like the ACT was there, but there wasn't a particular reason to use it, and the SAT was just more familiar.
Chloe.
Yeah, I also took the SAT mostly because like my brother took it and I was more familiar with it. I know like some people took the ACT because they like weren't happy with their scores on the SAT, but besides that, like I just didn't really have a reason to like take one over the other.
Nice. Michael.
I took the SAT because that's the one I was most familiar with, but I know a lot of my other friends they take both to just see which one each is like and compare which one they did better on or which one they think the format is better and they can compare which one they want to take again and continue in that. And I would say your school also has a lot of resources for both SAT and ACT. Like my school had like through our school we had practice tests that we could just take online that were not on Blue Book. It's called ePrep, and you can find a lot of practice tests on there and get a lot of questions through your mind.
All right, Brian.
I took the SAT because I it was just more popular than the ACT. Um, and I used Desmos a lot for math. And I also used the SAT question bank blank a lot for the English questions.
All right. So I just want to give some general advice for anyone who's taking the SAT. The test has like a lot of tricks, um, and little things where you can just watch some videos on it. Um, the test is specifically designed to like trick you on a few questions. So you should be careful for those. And also, I think um, about scores, any like I want to say once you reach a good enough score that you're satisfied with, I wouldn't recommend taking it like too many times. It does take up a lot of time studying and all that. Um, I do think that there's more important sections on your application that you should worry about first. So yeah. Um, okay. Next question is, how did you balance academics with your extracurricular activities, and test prep? So Devin, you want to start?
Sure. Um, in terms of like balancing all the things, um, I don't really know. I just like you just kind of have to find out like through your own experience like what like how you um like for me at least I'm not as much of an organized person. I'm a little bit more spontaneous. So I'm fine with like studying whenever and basically whenever there's free time I just do something either whether I want to relax or do something related to like schoolwork. I think you kind of just have to find out like your own method of um like studying and balancing all your extracurriculars because yeah, there's going to be a lot of extracurriculars where like the timing isn't up to your decision, and so you kind of just have to make do with it.
All right. Hanwan?
So I don't have that much advice for balancing time and extracurriculars. You're just gonna have to like sacrifice something, like either be sleep or like drop the quality of one or the other. But for a test advice, at least for the SAT, I recommend studying a lot during summer after junior year and just take it during August, so you're not and just be done. You don't have anything to worry about over the summer, and you could study really well and just get a high score. You don't want to take it in your senior year like rushing for a score. You're not going to be studying that well, and you still have classes to work.
All right. Nathan?
My advice for balancing is don't procrastinate and just try to get some homework done or studying done before your extracurriculars. That way, when you get home, you don't have that much to do. And then also just when you do get home after you finish your activities, just study your homework right away because the earlier you finish, the earlier you can sleep, and then having a good sleep, being fresh with energy is important in maintaining as we talked about, high GPA, good academics, and that's something that's very important.
Nice. Susanna?
I would say just try to stay organized and have a schedule for when you're gonna have time to study and when you have time to focus on extracurriculars. And I would also say that it's good to like look ahead and keep track of deadlines and stuff, especially when you get to the actual college application process. And then you're writing all your essays and you also have to apply for scholarships. It's really important to keep track of all your deadlines.
Jason?
I think well, specifically for the SAT, I think you should try to definitely get that like done with during the summer because studying for the SAT during the school year is just a pain. Like for me, I took it once, I took it in August, got it done with, and just like never thought about it again. And it was really nice to be able to do that. And for like balancing time in general, I think along with what everyone else said, I think another important part is picking what you want to commit to, right? Rather than finding like a bunch of activities that you kind of put your effort into. I'd rather put my effort into like a few concentrated activities that I'm really passionate and really put a lot of time into. And I think that lets you not only have better extracurriculars on your application, it also gives you more time to work on stuff as well.
Chloe?
I definitely agree with like trying to plan ahead. So like for me, if I know like I have a tournament on the weekends, I might like try to get most of my homework done during the week so I don't have to worry about like a lot of stuff on the weekends. And I would also say to like not be scared to ask for help or like ask your teachers for an extension or anything. In my experience, like my teachers are usually pretty flexible if I reach out ahead of time to like be more loose with the deadline or like let me turn in something later. So just like be proactive about like reaching out, like if you're super busy or something.
Michael.
Yeah, I'd say prioritizing your extracurriculars with the things that you need, like sleep, because I think too many people don't prioritize their sleep enough. So know what you're getting into with your extracurriculars. If they're that important to you, make sure that you're setting aside time to do that. That's another aspect, time management. And try to get a lot more of your schoolwork done in school because that's when you're forced to be there. So do it while you have time. And so that when you're at home, you can do the things that you want to do that's not related to school as well. And then you can also have a nice sleep so you're ready to do the same thing the next day.
All right, Brian.
Uh, I would say for time management, um, I would just focus on getting your homework and your studying done before you start doing other things such as like taking breaks or like looking at your phone. Um, yeah, that's about it.
One thing I would like to add, I mean, obviously, nowadays AI is so
哦，这么快，
oh,
是吧？
influential, and I think use AI as a tool as your friend, but don't, I mean, obviously don't depend on AI. I do think AI is a great resource. You can try to let it do some of the busy work, kind of like if you want it to make you a plan, you can make a plan. Like you don't need to write out your own plan now. You can use AI, try to plan it out, stuff like that. Obviously, don't depend on it again. And yeah, use it as a tool. Okay. Um, does anyone have anything else to add for any like advice for academics, keeping a good GPA or anything on the SAT or even like AP classes?
I have one. Yeah, don't like get into like don't get like cheat and have like on your record like something about like academic dishonesty because that sometimes will get to your college admission depending on if your counselor knows about it and they will be writing your counselor writer letter of recommendation. So don't like cheat obviously and don't let it affect your academic record.
I'd also say like try to take the extra step for like STEM classes, try to seek out like the why behind things, try to take the your understanding to the next level. Your teachers will see that you're trying to understand the concepts, you're asking questions, you're engaging with the materials, and that would just make your again your recommendation letter that much more strong, and it will give you a better understanding of the course materials, and you'll do better in the class.
Anyone else want to add anything? Actually, I'll say one thing. I think this is like the time once you're in high school, it's time that I would start, sacrificing a little bit of our screen time. Obviously video games are fun, uh, social media, whatever. But I feel like now if you have a little bit of free time, don't spend it all on video games or whatever, social media, whatever. Try to find something you're interested in. You can use this time to, do some more research or, find something new that you like to do that you could add to your application. So yeah, utilize your free time wisely.
I'd like to say one thing regarding AP classes. So even though they do bring up your GPA, they're also really good to skip college credit, to have college credit. So make sure you study for the AP exams as well, because they really do help um, like skip a lot of college classes when you're going into college.
Also, another thing about AP classes, so a lot of people just try to cram in as many as they can, but also focus on like how much coursework you're gonna have. So if you think it's gonna be too much, don't try to overload yourself. Because especially with the AP exams, that means you're gonna have to take exams for all of your classes in May. And so that would be a lot to study for as well. And it could stress you out a lot. So
Anything else? Anyone? Okay. All right. We're gonna move on to specifics on our college applications. So the first question is, how did you discover your intended major, Devin?
Yeah, so I actually um I found out that I wanted to do something more related to the business side after looking at the options. So I was interested in biology from like kind of the start, but within biology, kind of the two standard paths are either going to like medical school and becoming like a doctor or um, doing research. And for me personally, at least right now, I don't really want to do either of those for my career. And I thought business has a lot of flexibility and a lot of different options out there. And so, kind of when I found out that Penn has this like program. So like for those who don't know, like the life sciences and management program is a dual degree between their College of Arts and Sciences and Wharton. So once I found out that like some schools like Berkeley and Penn had like these kind of dual degree programs that allow you to experience both sides, I knew I wanted to do something related to that. And that's kind of exactly how I discovered these programs and decided to apply for them.
Awesome. Hanwen.
Yeah, so I went in with like the general idea of statistics, and for NYU specifically, the statistics concentration was in their business school. So business got added into that, and my major right now doesn't have anything to do with statistics because while looking through the school's page, I found out about the business and political economy track, which is much more niche and fit my interests a lot better than just pure statistics and concentration. So yeah, I would just recommend do a lot more research on each individual schools as a lot of them have programs that the you might not know about and might fit your interests better than what you're originally thinking.
All right, Nathan.
So for me, I kind of figured out my interests kind of a little bit like earlier in my high school life. I was taking some business courses and I just found that I was really interested in it and I really liked learning about the concepts. So that's how I knew I wanted to do business. But on a broader note, if you want to find something as your major for college, kind of explore things, take, different courses you might like something, then also try to find something you're good at, not just you have an A in the class, but something you can actually understand the conceptual stuff and actually and be able to like use it well instead of just memorizing something and then forgetting about it later on.
Susanna.
I think I always had an idea that I would go into some kind of STEM-based major because I feel like math has always been one of my strongest subject areas. And then I also took both AP Physics C classes in high school, and I really enjoyed those. And so from there, I decided to go into engineering.
Jason?
I think I think for me it's like two main reasons why I picked like computation and cognition, which is like kind of like a dual major almost between computer science and neuroscience. And it's because one is that like it's an area that I haven't really explored yet. I think for computer science, I've in my personal interest, I've explored a lot of areas already. And this area I find really interesting, but I haven't had the time to explore. And it's also very difficult to explore on your own and learn on your own. And I think this opportunity is perfect to learn it. And the second thing is there also aren't that many CS tracks that are like looking too good right now because of AI. So why not join AI?
I like that. Chloe.
For me, I didn't really know what I was interested in, like going into high school. I kind of settled on history because I just realized I was like really interested in my history classes and I was good at them. And for political science, I realized like through doing debate that like I was pretty interested in like current events and like the like research side of debate. So that's just kind of like how I got interested in those majors.
Michael.
So I didn't know what I wanted to do for the longest time. So it was really annoying when the parents ask you like, "Oh yeah, what are you gonna do in college?" Because this gets really you hear it a lot. So don't pressure your kids too much. But I knew one thing I didn't want to do first was medicine. So I I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I know I did not want to do medicine because both my parents do medicine, and I thought it was too much like memorization and things like that. At first, I wanted to do something related to finance or business or economics because everything needs like money to run, right? That was some rationale. But after a little bit, I took some classes in high school and especially physics, which I took both physics class, which I really enjoyed. And I discovered like looking around the world, looking at the world around me, like everyone is using electricity, but not a lot of people really understand how electricity really works, including me. I didn't have any clue. But as I continued in the class, I really enjoyed it, continue seeking more like how things work, how electricity has changed our lives, and really captivated me to pursue electrical engineering.
All right, Brian.
I also found out my major pretty late, probably at the end of my junior year. Uh, I also took both physics classes and I found that it was really interesting. I also thought, and I also was really good at math and science overall. I took calculus and chemistry, and that was kind of what made me choose engineering. Um, and I also did a lot of researching, and I found mechanical to be like the most versatile field of engineering. Um, and my school has like the most mechanical engineering um, like students and facilities. And I think it was the right choice for me.
Thank you. So for me, I also decided pretty late. I think it was the end of junior year, actually closer to the start of senior year. Technically, I wanted to do data science as a major, but obviously, I'm industrial engineering now because Georgia Tech doesn't offer a specific data science major. So I actually found a data science concentration in the industrial engineering major, which also goes to my advice. I feel like researching these schools beforehand, researching the schools you want to go to, making sure that they have your major is pretty important. Also, obviously, it's okay to not know what you're gonna do. Just try to know like what general direction that you want to go in, either STEM or whatever, like liberal arts. humanities, other stuff like that. So yeah, that's how I ended up choosing industrial engineering. Um, okay, so we're gonna move on to the next question, and that is, what helped you brainstorm your essays? So let's start with Devin.
I would say like probably um you can pick from your experiences. So when you think about like a lot of your activities for your Common App or some of the events that you've been a part of, you can really pull from anything. You could pull like metaphors from certain aspects of life if you want. And so, yeah, but I think especially for the ones more tailored towards either like the school or the major, it is really important that you incorporate it to uh or like incorporate something from one of your like main activities because at the end of the day when you have a talk about that main activity inside of like the essay, it kind of reinforces the idea that you're definitely doing something kind of more active in this activity, and it's definitely having an impact on you that you can share with the admissions officers. And I think having showcasing that you have like passion towards something is really important for you to like for the colleges to kind of like uh be because they have like admissions officers and they like root for you to get in or whatever. So like it's kind of helpful for them to like help when they put you on like the admissions table to like root for you, I guess.
All right, Hanwan.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what Devin just said. But as for brainstorming the essays, a decent chunk of people I knew had like college counselors that helped them write their essays or do editing or whatever. But I recommend using AI to help you brainstorm. It's a really easy and quick tool to like get some feedback on your essay, like what's good, and you can just talk back and forth with AI, discussing ideas and stuff. And AI is also decent at researching like the essay prompts and like what stuff about the school can fit with the prompt. But obviously, don't only rely on AI. AI almost always makes mistakes. So and AI also doesn't sound human either. You have to put your own experiences in there, or the admissions officers are gonna like instantly reject you. So just use AI as a tool for brainstorming. It is a big time saver while writing the essays.
All right, Nathan.
So helping brainstorm ideas for essays, something that can help you is, especially with the comment of finding a character trait you want to emphasize. So that way, when you're looking for experiences, you know what you're looking for. You're not like all over the place. You have an idea. Let's say you want to emphasize responsibility, then you can find certain aspects in your life that show that, and then it becomes easier to, find a topic for the essay. And then, as Hanwen said, college counselors, you can also, it doesn't have to be a college counselor. You can find your friends that can, give you ideas or yeah, kind of help you on how to portray a character trait in your essay. So just, having multiple people in your life just kind of helping you can make the brainstorming a lot easier.
I agree. Susanna.
So definitely looking at your extracurriculars and what you do outside of school could be a good place to start for brainstorming essay ideas, especially like hobbies. And maybe if there's something that you didn't get to highlight in your activities section, maybe you could bring that out. So then the admissions officers can see a different side of you that's not just academics. And also for brainstorming ideas, also try to be creative because there's some people who write about something that seems like a really boring topic, but if you like write it in the right way, then it can make something that seems really boring on the outside. If you explain how it's important to you, how it's impacted your life, then it can be really meaningful and stand out from other college applications.
Nice. Jason.
I think for brainstorming ideas, like step one, get away from the computer, maybe go for a walk, or at least for me. that was most helpful, where you just kind of reflect on, okay, what have I done, whether it's in school or out of school, is it extracurricular, for fun, with friends? What do I find memorable? What makes me me? And then think about, okay, what experience do I want to center this essay around? Or what experiences do I want to center this essay around? And then after you're done brainstorming, think, okay, if I write an essay about this, will I be able to read this and know, yep, that's my essay. This the content of this essay is uniquely mine. And if a friend of mine read this essay, they might be able to say, hey, look, that's this person. This is Jason's essay. This is not my essay. And I think really having your own voice show through your content and through your writing style is very important to demonstrate to these college admissions officers, because after all, they're like reading thousands of these essays. They're going to get very, very bored. So being unique and different and having different experiences is what will make you shine the most.
Nice. Chloe.
For me, when I was like thinking about each one of my essays, I try to think about like how I could use each essay to like add more context to different parts of my application or like connect different things. So like as an example, for like the why major kind of essays, I used a lot of those to like also write a bit about like my experiences with debate and like that community, and then connect that maybe to like research I did or like my academic interests. And I would also say I think the most important part of like having an effective essay is just like being authentic and like having your voice like really come through. So I'd focus on just like thinking like really personally about what you want to show in your essay instead of like trying to make it sound like really polished or like not like yourself.
Michael.
Yeah, so at first, like you're not gonna want to do any brainstorming, but so you're gonna have to force yourself to set aside some time to think about some possible topics. But it's not just like a one-time thing. You you can have like set brainstorming times, but also you continually think about possible ideas as you're walking or going about your day. Like you're going about your day and you'll just see something random at school and you see like, okay, that could be a great idea. You just write it down. And you don't have to think too hard about it, right? If you have something that you think could be a good idea, start drafting something. Like just write out whatever comes to your mind, and then you can edit everything later. Because once you see, okay, maybe when you're writing, you'll find something else that you think, oh, I forgot about this, and I can make this into a new idea. But the essays are supposed to be like a story about you, and this is the one opportunity where you can write a story about yourself, a personal story, and someone else has to read it. So why not make some fun out of it and think about something interesting about yourself that you can find?
Nice. Brian.
So I'm not the best writer in the world. So I just um I tried to not write about something very generic and something that's meaning I try to write something meaningful to me, that's only like unique to me. And I think that did help me stand out. And for schools and majors, I'd say um like AI does kind of help you brainstorm, but also like just researching, like going on the school's website and like looking at their programs, um their like clubs, um or like their like academics. Also, you can also write about their like events in your essays as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna piggyback off of Brian. I think it's very important to research the colleges beforehand, see what, their ideals are. So a lot of colleges, they're all different. They all value different values. So be sure to, when you're writing the essays, be sure to tailor them towards each college. Other than your main essay, you're gonna have one um, personal statement, which is the one long essay that just you're writing about yourself. Make sure you write, uh, you know, try to differentiate yourself from other people. And then also supplemental essays like why this school, or like community experience or something. Be sure to be specific, include, um, you know, school specific activities or things that you might be looking forward to participating in and stuff like that. So yeah, be specific. Uh, hold on. Is Devin back in here? Did Devin return? Oh, all right, there he is. Okay. Let's do one more question for this topic. We're just gonna um okay, so how did you choose teachers for your recommendation letters? And then we're also gonna tie in if you applied for any scholarships, if you have any scholarship advice. So teachers and then scholarships. So Devin, you want to start?
Yeah. So for teacher recommendation letters, I basically chose the teachers that know me best. And there's also like some teachers that I had already known that they like write good recommendation letters. And since like for me, the biotech program that I was a part of was also like an AP chemistry one. So I'd use that teacher because he also had like a un more unique perspective of me. And then I also recommend if you have like some other separate like research mentor or someone like that, you can always ask someone outside of school to write maybe like the optional recommendation letter. Most people are very open to writing those for you and they want to see your success.
All right, Han.
Yeah, I heavily agree with what he said. I also had a optional letter rec from a professor I did research with, and I think it was very helpful in my application. And with regards to picking the teachers, just don't get teachers of the same subject, and just pick teachers who you have a good relationship with.
All right, Nathan.
Yeah, I mean, just generally find a teacher you have good relationship with, but also, um, someone you can like talk to about like your life. Like I said before, when you're going in to, talk to a teacher, it doesn't always have to be about, homework or a concept. It can just be about what you did over the weekend. Can I build like a bonding experience? I was able to do that with some of my teachers so that, when they wrote the rec letter, they're not just writing, oh, Nathan, he has a good grade in my class. They can actually expand on the type of person I was. And that's kind of what you want to look for in a teacher. They can just talk about your personality. Um, and if you have a good enough relationship with them, they might be able to write you rec letters for other things besides colleges. Like some of my teachers, they have offered me if I need anything in college, like a rec letter, they'd be happy to write one. So that's something that's helpful. And then going off like the additional rec letter, you kind of find someone that, in your extracurriculars that you're good
And
with, that you've learned a lot from. They can also share on a different type of experience besides just academics. It could be something more of a personal quality. So those are all good things to look for in a asking someone to write a rec letter.
Great. Susanna.
so the two teachers that I got rec letters from, one was an English teacher that I had in 11th grade in junior year, and then the other one was a calculus teacher that I had also in junior year. So my word of advice is since most schools usually like if you're applying to some of the like more selective schools, they require two teacher recommendations. So you might want to find teachers from two different subject areas. So usually one from humanities, so like English, and then another from STEM. So then you have that variety. And so then the admissions officers can also see that you're doing well in all kinds of classes. And also it's a good idea to build a good relationship with your teachers from day one so then that they know you well. Because there are some teachers who use AIs to write their recommendations, so you don't just want the teacher to write a generic recommendation for you that doesn't help your application at all.
Nice. Jason.
I heavily agree there with like the idea that as like a rule of thumb, it's good to have, one humanities teacher and one STEM teacher to write a letter of rec for you, because that kind of shows like your diversity in what topics and what stuff that you're like intellectually curious with. And I think once again, other people have mentioned this, but find a teacher that you have good relations with, and think about it like from the start, like from the beginning of junior year, because most of your rec letters are probably going to be from teachers you had in junior year. Think, okay, which teachers do I think I would, or which classes do I think I'll do the best in? Which teachers do I think I like the most and have their best relations with students? And then go to their clinics or go to their classes after school, help them with things, or just generally be a very good student in their class. And another thing is you can give teachers something called like a brag sheet, which is like a list of stuff that you've done that they might not know about. And you can like, it's like a thing to help them write their recommendation letter. Because even if you have a good relation with a teacher, they have like 30, 60 students. So they don't know everything about what you do outside of their class. So it could be helpful to give them a brag sheet to help them get started on writing their letter of recommendation.
All right, Chloe.
Yeah.
I would say to pick teachers where you've like performed the best in their class, like so they have something to write about besides like what grade you got in their class. I ended up asking my junior year history and English teachers for letters, and I know like most people recommend like one humanities and one STEM letter. But I kind of realized like I didn't really like try or like participate as much in like my math and science classes, so I felt like a letter from one of those teachers would have just been like weaker overall because I just wasn't really like standing out in those classes. So I would say like whatever teachers like know you best and like can write the most about you.
All right, Michael.
Yeah, I'd say if you're thinking about STEM, then definitely try to pick a STEM teacher, physics, calculus, right? That's definitely important one, and build a good rapport with your teacher so they can have something good to say about you, about your performance in the class and other things as well. And ask your teachers early too, because some teachers have like quota they have, or just they'll only accept so many. So do well, but also make sure that you ask them early enough so they have enough time to write a quality letter.
All right, Brian.
I asked for two recommendation letters, one from my physics teacher and one from my English teacher. Uh, and for both of them, I filled out a survey um, to like give them more information about me, even though I was like a good an active learner, and I asked a lot of questions, and I formed really good relationships with both of my teachers.
Kevin, you're on mute.
Sorry about that. Um, okay, so before we open the floor to questions from the audience, I have one final question for all of you, and that is, what's your biggest college application regret? So let's start with Devin.
Honestly, I don't I don't really have any regrets. Um, I got in I guess like if you want to be like nitpicky, I guess like I got in through the ED round, so like it is nice to know like that you got in already, but because I ED'd, like you'll never really know like what other colleges you could get into. But I wouldn't even count that as like a regret. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right, Han.
I guess starting writing essays earlier, and also yeah, just do more research beforehand on applying.
All right, Nathan.
Something I guess you could say regret would be I just didn't get that many college visits in. Just, busy doing writing essays and stuff. So just kind of in understanding like the culture of the colleges I'm applying to. I wasn't able to do that with all of mine, so that'd be a regret. Um, yeah.
All right, Susanna.
I would just say doing more research on colleges and applying to more of them because I applied to less than 10, and I feel like in general, most people go for at least 10 colleges. So I would just say do your research well and then see what options you have.
All right, Jason.
I think for me, the biggest regret is definitely procrastinating, especially when you get to like winter break and you've got like 5 colleges and like 15 essays to write. And you're like, oh shoot, well, I'm not going to have a winter break anymore. I'm going to have college application writing time, not winter break. So it's like, I think just procrastinating. I did start earlier, but I didn't get enough done, I think. It's very hard, I think, in the beginning stage of just like getting the first words down because like every single word you're gonna write, or at least for me, it feels like it sucks. Like you're gonna sit there, or at least I sat there for 6 hours and an empty Google Doc, got like a paragraph or two down. But I think you just gotta really go through that because in that process it feels bad and it is horrible, but like that's your brain thinking and like processing yourself and trying to come up with something better.
All right, Chloe.
I feel like my biggest regret was like applying to too many schools. So I didn't get into my top choice like during the early round. So I ended up applying to like 21 schools. Um, and I kind of just like added a bunch of schools onto my list like at the last minute. And as I was like getting my decisions back like later, I kind of realized there were a lot of schools that I applied to that like weren't a good fit for me, or that like even if I got in, I probably wouldn't have chosen that school for like whatever reason. So I'd say just like plan your college list out like in advance and like be reasonable about it and like don't make too many like last minute changes to it.
All right, Michael.
Yeah, nobody really says I wish I didn't start sooner. We only say that you wish you had more time, but I don't really count it as a regret, but like I learned that you need to manage your time better. And it does suck at the beginning, like you're writing when you're writing, but when you force yourself to just put some words down on a page, coming out of the process, I do see myself as a better writer, complete a whole different type of writer, and it's been a really gratifying experience. So just force yourself to do that and be uncomfortable in the moment.
All right, Brian.
I would say I do regret not taking the ACT because I took the SAT a lot of times, because my English was pretty bad. Um, Another thing is college visits. I only visited 2 campuses, um, which is not a lot. And I feel like I should have visited the more campuses before I applied and not after I applied, to get a feel of like what the college is actually like.
All right, so me, I had a lot of similar regrets. Definitely, like Suzanne, I feel like I didn't apply to as many colleges as I wanted because I was a little too lazy. But um, also, like Brian and I think a few others said this, you should visit the college campuses. It's really important because obviously, other than, prestige, uh, the college experience, you want to maximize these 4 years. So try to pick a college that really suits you, um, aligns with your goals, and obviously, it'd be a plus to have a nice campus. Something that you're gonna be proud of living on for 4 years. Okay, all right. I think that wraps up the topics section. Let's open up to any questions from the audience. So, if any audience members, you can raise your hand and I will pick on you. And then if any of us want to answer, you can do so. So Okay, Austin has a question. Go ahead.
Uh, did you like I say as like a majority of you guys, did you choose like a select region to apply to, like the Northeast, South, West Coast, things like that?
Okay, so I'll answer this question. Um, I didn't really limit myself to a specific region. I kind of applied to a lot of actually, I mean, I applied to a lot of schools on the East Coast. I think a lot less on the West Coast. I feel like it is better to be a little bit closer to home. Um, so yeah. Anyone
Um,
else? Oh,
Yeah, I can kind of go off that. I yeah, I personally I didn't limit my region either, but I think there are definitely like certain aspects of each college campus especially that will like be more geared towards your own fit. So for me personally, I think I wanted to have like kind of like a city life. And so that's why I personally chose some schools that had like
That
a major city around them that I thought would be kind of like integrated into your like college experience. So I think choosing a location, also like depending on like if you want like I know Cornell is like in like Ithaca and it's much smaller of a town. Like choosing your location is for the next 4 years is definitely like really an important factor to take into account.
yeah, and building off of location, like you want to go to a school, you have to research the weather beforehand. Like, um, I don't know, like Cornell. We'll go with Cornell again. Ithaca, it gets really cold in the winter, so you gotta know beforehand what kind of weather you're dealing with. So that would factor into your college search as well. Okay. Looks like Daniel's got a question.
Yeah, so for the process of asking for a rec letter, after you initially ask it, let's say in the end of your junior year, did you guys, I know most schools like use Naviance to do the brag sheet. Did you guys like use Naviance during the summer to upload it or like after the school year started?
I can answer this one. So a lot of the teachers I had for the brag sheet, I had to like, upload two copies. I first gave them like a copy through either email or in person, and then they also told me to upload it through Naviance during the school year of senior year.
Yeah, I don't think you have to worry about Naviance until the school year starts, I think.
Yeah, I can also add to that because usually you want to ask for rec letters at the end of your junior year, and then your teacher might ask you for like some additional information. And then usually teachers spend some time over the summer to get started on your rec letters, and then in the fall. So if you're using Naviance, you just have to send a request through Naviance or maybe just remind your teacher, and then they'll handle everything from their end.
Any other questions, guys? Audience members? Oh, Daniel, go ahead.
Yeah, I have more. So as for your like supplementals, I know Common App just opened today. Did you guys like use your ED school and like prioritize that as your first one to do the supplementals and then use like and then structure the other supplemental essays for other schools around your ED?
I can take this. So in terms of like the order that I did it in, I know UNC's. I wanted to do like so for me, I wanted to split up my like applications with the early cycles and like then the ones that I can't do early, I would just do regular. So I know like UNC's at least last year's was like October 15th. So I actually yeah, I worked on like the ED essays also, but I definitely did prioritize getting UNC out like finished first just because it was the earliest. So I kind of did it based off like when the deadlines were. And yes, I think that's how I did it.
I would
Uh,
also say,
oh,
oh,
you go ahead, go ahead. You can go ahead.
I would also say for state schools, I know if you're like if for like Penn State Shires has I know it has a lot like nine essays, but it's a good base to use those 9 essays for a bunch of other colleges. Some of them you can literally, if it's a good essay, you can literally copy and paste it into for another supplemental for a different college. And Penn State starts applications early and it's rolling basis. So if you get their school done early, then you can use that base for your foundations for an ED, which is usually later. And then you can use that as a base for all your other schools as well.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, for me, actually, I would
Eight,
focus on your ED if you really like are passionate about that school. Try to, I mean, obviously, if you have other applications that are due earlier, try to do those. But I would start your ED like basically as soon as the Common App comes out. Just start drafting your essay for it. If it's like a special school in your heart, I feel like it would be worth it to spend a little extra time on that.
In terms of structuring your essay, I would say you don't just structure it around like your ED essay, kind of have like a couple topics you want to write about, and then structure your essays around those topics. So it's like it's more universal. You can write it for any type of question instead of just only having one type of question and then trying to match that one in all your other essays.
Okay. Anyone have anything else to add to that?
Real quick, it's not just essays. Some schools have optional supplementals where you have to upload a video or some sort of portfolio. So don't let that catch you off guard. And sometimes, I know, for example, Penn State Shriers, if you apply before a deadline, you're eligible for an interview. And if you don't apply, if you apply after, you're not going to get interviews. So just do your research. There's different supplementals, not just like two.
All right. Amy has a question.
Yeah, my question is, in your application, how important you feel it is to show that you've done some voluntary work?
I can answer this. Volunteer work, I feel like it would depend on the scale of the volunteer work. If you're like, it depends on how many people you're impacting. So I think, if it's very, very impactful, I would include that as a very high, extracurricular. So actually, we didn't talk about this, but on the Common App, your ECs or your activities are actually ranked. So you want to rank them by importance to you. I Depending on the scale of the volunteer work, I would place it somewhere along those lines, but I definitely think it's worth it to include in your application. I think Jason, do you want to say anything?
Oh yeah, I want to add that like it also depends heavily on what college you're applying to. Like a lot of colleges, they publish something called a common data set, and just look up college name and then common data set and you might be able to find it. And in these common data sets, they could list stuff about how much they prioritize different things. So for example, MIT, if you look at their huge table of whatever, uh, in the row that says volunteer work, they consider a little bit, but not that much. So it really depends on per college. But for Princeton, for example, where their motto is like something about service and their entire, their values are centered around service, then it is very, very important to express what you have done through volunteering and the magnitude of your volunteering work.
I think it also depends a little like what kind of volunteering you're doing. So like obviously like the magnitude, like how many people you're impacting and like your leadership position are important. But I think if you have like a really specific like volunteer thing related to like your major or like related to like something else in your application, it stands out a lot more compared to just like doing something like random like on the weekends. So I think like if it's like something you've invested a lot of time in and it's like related or like connected to the rest of your application, it can really like help you stand out and like show that you like care about like what you do.
All right, great. I think Lucia, is that how you say it? Lucia? Lucia? Lucy
It's
has a
Lucia.
question. Sorry.
No, you're good. I was just wondering like if you guys had anything like in your application that you guys thought got you into the school, or is it like just general like overall application, like in your guys' opinion?
Um, oh, Nathan, you can go.
Okay. So for me, I think I think one of the big things that helped me get into my college would be that fundraiser because it was something that's like really connected with my topic business. So if you want to kind of like have something like that where it's just like really connected to your major so that colleges know that you're interested in and uh, that you're actually serious about the major you want to do.
I can add on to that. So I think like I did have like one essay that what I think was probably um like one of the main things that got me in. And basically, um, coming from I really don't have like much business experience, but I think through the essay, I really expressed like my interest and kind of analytically broke down like what I would be doing with like having a business career. And I think that essay was like really, really important even though I didn't have that much experience and pretty much on my entire application, I had nothing related to it. I think that essay really showed that the admissions officers like what angle I was coming from and my perspective and like what I want to pursue in the future.
I also want to add on to that. I feel like for me, it wasn't just one thing. I think it was how, like my whole application, how it went together. I do feel like um, you should stay consistent in your essays. Be sure that whatever you're saying, the essays don't contradict. I think the overall connectivity of your application is also very important, not just, individual parts.
Yeah, actually like to add on to Alan, like yeah, I think it's like really, really important that you have like a cohesive application. So, especially with like rec letters too, like I choose people that I knew what I said in my essays would be backed up by them and they would probably talk about it too. And so when you have like all these different people saying and like vouching for you and saying like the same idea, there's like a kind of consistency. And I think that's like really important and that's really eye-grabbing for the admissions officers.
Any other questions? Feel free to raise your hand. All right, Daniel, go for it.
For your senior year classes, how important do you think the first semester ones are in like the GPA you get as a result of that?
I can take this question. So yeah, they're gonna have like a mid-year report, so make sure your grades don't drop before the mid-year report. And also for the colleges that come out, decisions come out later in the year, such as March, end of March. Some colleges you might need to submit like three-quarters of the way report. I know I did that once. So make sure your grades stay it consistently high th throughout most of senior year. And even when you get accepted, don't let them drop to like below a B because there is always a chance of getting rescinded depending on the college you go to.
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, it really it's really you being consistent with the years prior. They just look for any like grade drops or stuff like that. So yeah. All right. Any other questions? Yen Liu, go ahead.
Hi. In the discussion, you mentioned the importance of taking the AP class to keep it GPA high. I just get a sense that in general, how many AP classes you have taken during the high school?
Uh, okay, so for me, I took I think 15 AP classes. I do think that's I don't recommend taking that many. I think it's on the higher end. Um, I think around 9 or 10 is probably a good amount. I think anything past that, it doesn't really show too much. I think the colleges are just looking for like a baseline of if you can handle uh academic rigor and stuff like that. So yeah, I'd say around 9 to 10 is a good amount.
Also, going off of what Alan said, it also kind of depends on the school that you go to. Some schools have more AP, some have less. So just based on the amount, you might want to take more APs to show that you are challenging yourself. Or, if your school doesn't offer that many APs, the colleges will know that, so they're not gonna yeah, it's not gonna hurt you if you don't take that many. So just always depends on the school you go to.
Um, and also I think like you don't need to worry too heavily about like the GPA. Like as long as you're taking like I took 11 APs, and as long as I think if you're taking like a good amount of APs and you're
Yeah.
performing well in them, it's already enough to show that the colleges that you're competent enough for their like coursework. The GPA I think it can go towards like class rank if you care about that and you want and your school does class rank, but other than that, it doesn't have like too much benefit. They'll still see they'll read the other applications and like still see how many APs the other people took. So there's like you just take how many that you feel is comfortable. And yeah, I think like probably 8 and or like a little bit above 8 would be like a good amount.
Also, to add to what everyone is saying, like also once you get to a certain point, like around 10 APs, if you add one more or one less, it doesn't really have that big of an effect on your application. And also you want to like be careful for which AP classes you're taking. So also I think the main point of AP classes is to show the colleges that you're taking advantage of these more challenging courses because they're supposed to be like college level content. And especially you want to take AP classes that are related to what you want to study. So, for example, like engineering, you probably want to take calculus, physics, those kinds of AP classes. And yeah, because after a certain point, if you take like extra AP classes, there's not really much point because you have to take an extra AP exam and then you can't get AP credit for it either.
All right, we have a question. Michael, thank you for joining us. Um, all right, so question on how do you guys apply for internship? Any recommendation resources? So, do any of you want to answer that?
Yeah, I can start off with that. So in terms of like the biotech internship that I had, that one was completely like inside of the school. So for I know Central Bucks offers this program, so if you're interested in like 11th grade, you can apply for that. And then uh for the CHOP one, there's a lot of summer program opportunities that you can pursue. You would just need to apply for them, similar to like college applications, and then you just apply for them a little bit earlier on in like junior year, or if you want earlier. And then for me, I you can also like cold email people. So it you like don't be too worried about getting offers because of course you're still a high school student, especially if it's your first one, you may not have as much experience, but like just feel free to reach out because some labs or some places will for sure want you like they like helping people out, and so like if they see that you're interested and you're like the only person that's asking, they might still have the opportunity to take you on.
I can add on to that. So this summer I'm interning at like a court, like a local district court, and I just like cold emailed a bunch of like different judges like around the area. And that's like how I got it. So I would say just like don't be afraid to like email and ask if like there's any chance you can like shadow or like help out somewhere. But especially for like summer stuff, I think honestly a lot of people get, like me included, get internships from like family friends. Like if you know someone who like like works in a lab or like runs some kind of company that you're interested, you can like maybe help out and just like shadow them for like the summer. So like just like use your network and like the people you know because that's an easy way to just like have something to write on your resume.
All right, thank you. Okay, we're gonna wrap it up for today's session. I want to thank all panelists for taking the time out of your day to answer these questions. So I'm gonna hand it back to One Faith to wrap it up.
Right. Thank you, Alan. Um, thank you very much for spending your time sharing your experience and insights about your high school life and also the college application process. We really appreciate that because it really helps the other students and families who are just getting on this journey to learn from you guys. So really appreciate you spending the time here. Um, we wish you amazing experience in your college life and also fun and success in the next 4 years. Thank you very much and have a good night.